Welcome to Healthcare Quality and Risk Matters, the show where we dive into the topics that matter most in healthcare quality and risk management. Wondering about patient safety, quality improvement, or risk mitigation, but weren't sure who to ask or were afraid to ask? Well, you're in the right place. We create a safe and judgment-free space to explore these critical topics together that will leave you informed and inspired to make a positive impact on healthcare and patient outcomes. So let's learn and grow together because healthcare matters.
Oh my goodness. It appears my camera has frozen.
But you're frozen with a smile, so that's
A
great.
big smile on my face. I wonder if there's a way I can.
It's like one of those. There's Gary's here. There's cardboard cutouts. That's a great way to do the show.
Oh my gosh, that is awful. I don't know how I can bounce out and come back in.
I hope the whole show runs like this.
Well, everybody, you can tell we're having a risk event here at Healthcare Quality and Risk Matters. Welcome to our December edition. We are so glad that you are here. It's been a remarkable year. We're excited about it. We really touched on a lot of new insights, great feedback from you, the audience. It's been a phenomenal year. Wouldn't you say, Rob?
Oh, I completely agree.
Well, the guy over there frozen with the big smile on his face is me. I'm Gary Bierce. I am the CEO of Aperitisoft Healthcare, and my esteemed colleague and dear friend, Rob Santamore, who is our Chief Operating Officer, is my co-host. And we're excited about tonight's show. Like last year, we are going to reflect on the entire year, and we're going to present to you what we picked. And there were a lot of great clips and things that happened over the year, but we went and picked what we felt were the top six clips and highlights for the year. And we're going to treat it like one of those top 10 shows and got to rip through one at a time. Before we dive into that, Rob, you have anything that you'd like to share with the audience?
No, I just want to expand on what you said. The insights that came through, the participation from all of our listeners, has been wonderful throughout 2025. We have learned a lot from you all. We've really enjoyed the collaboration. It has made the show more exciting. Our favorite is there's guests that have walked away with new information. And talking points to help make positive change in their organization, which is our mission as well.
So true, so true. And hey, everybody, I'm back. Now you can watch me live. So welcome to live social media streaming. Okay, well, one other thing before we get started. January, we have a topic picked already. We're going to be talking about sort of quality New Year's resolutions. So mark your calendar for late January. We'll be having a good time with that as well. All right. So number 6 on the hit parade is the question every CEO should ask. And it was done in August this past year. It's unlocking higher ratings and talking about key strategies in healthcare. You want to run that tape for us?
I do.
Would the CEO send his mom or his daughter to that facility and be excited about the care she was getting? And that would be a great test. Just do a blind survey of every CEO of every healthcare facility and ask that question. And I bet you we would be scared of the answer.
I'm sure all of us have seen movies where they've got the crickety old airplane. The guy, the actor looks at him and the guy says something like, "Well, I think we'll be okay."
Yeah.
So true, Rob. So
that
true.
Is true. And there's consulted for in audited organizations where the facility does not believe in themselves. And how scary, right? How scary to know that the quality of your operations, the quality of your care, in the faith that your leadership has in you as an organization themselves is so poor that they would not want their loved ones to go there.
And I think that's common.
Yeah, and I can't fathom that. Because me, right, like as a nurse, my first thought is if it's unsafe and it feels bad, fix it. So
we're getting into talking about quality processes. Certainly, we talk about our software quite a bit. But really, when it comes down to it's people who deserve the best level of care that can be given to them. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to do. Yeah, you and I are all about processes that will help hospitals to be self-aware and discover how they can improve on those things.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's all about people. And I think many folks get into this business and they lose sight of that, particularly in the administrative side. They start to lose sight. I mean, here's a little use case before we go to number 5. Older woman staying in an assisted living facility, struggling to eat. All of a sudden, her memory's going. She's overnight now, okay? All of a sudden, she's in a delirious and coming in and out of being coherent. Rush to the hospital. Hospital goes and does all the tests they can think of. Can't figure out what's going wrong. Can't do it. Send her back to the assisted living. Happens still. It's still going on. Send her back to the hospital again. Wouldn't it make sense in those scenarios that they huddle up and they figure out how to make this woman well? Who cares how old she is? Pull in all the stops. Admit her into the hospital. Make the argument with the insurance people. Be the advocate for the patient.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that's the way it would work. But,
and those types of scenarios are rarely captured in incident management, and for lots of reasons. But one of the top that I see, especially from nursing, they'll identify that, hey, there's something missing here, or we need to do more. And they don't feel like they have a voice, or that they will be heard, or that there will be any action taken. Hey, we're discharging this woman, and I just feel like we need to do more, even if it's just that feeling. Is the culture of the organization such that that the leadership cares enough about quality that they're going to respond to that, and they're going to do some type of chart review, case review?
Yeah.
There's review and say, did we do the right thing? And if we didn't, how can we do better in the future?
Yeah. Particularly if everyone around this patient is telling you she's off, something's wrong.
Yeah. And sometimes it is intuition.
Right. I mean, yesterday she was fine. Today she's not. What happened? Yeah. Right. Figure it out. You're the professionals, right?
There's a root cause to it somewhere.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Hey, folks, we'd like to know what you think about this. Okay. It may be number 6, but it may be number 1 to you. So we'd love to have your thoughts on this topic. But also, let us know where you're from. Go ahead and put it in the chat. Let us know, who's online right now, and tell us what your thoughts are as we go through our top 6. All right, Rob, you ready for number 5?
I am ready for number 5.
Okay, so number 5 is
misaligned metrics and missed opportunities. This one features one of our special guests, Kyle Herber, who was
great show,
fantastic co-host.
Yeah, and I think this was in April, right?
It was in April,
right?
Navigating quality gaps in donation.
Yeah, outstanding. Let's run it.
Initial reaction to data like that.
Oh gosh, it's where do I begin, right? This is the story we live every single day in the work that we do. I think what it really boils down to, and I'm just going to jump right into it if you guys don't mind.
Go ahead.
I think clearly this is a classic example of competing regulations between transplant centers and organ procurement organizations. It is the perfect case of misaligned metrics in how we measure performance amongst the two entities. Back in 2020, if you look at that graph, was really when we began to see a large increase. That was when Medicare and Medicaid came out with new performance metrics for OPOs. that in order for us to keep our contract with CMS, we need to, we're being measured on volumes. And so OPOs were being forced to recover more donors and get more organs transplanted, which is a good thing. We all agree, like, we need to do that, and every OPO should be doing more. I wholeheartedly believe in that, and we all agree with that. But in doing so, we are now doing that. We're recovering more donors. We're recovering more organs. But transplant centers aren't being measured on volume. Transplant centers are being measured on patient outcomes.
Wow, conflicting priorities.
I will say once a week, I have some type of discussion, argument, frustration over there's competing standards, right? Whether it be from an accreditation and regulatory, there's standpoint, or whether it be a very simple internal quantity over quality standpoint focus in the culture of that organization. And I do think that's one of the greater points here is when we focus anything, our regulations, our accreditation standards, there's our daily operations, there's on a fixed number. There's adding in the quality elements. We are not considering quantity and quality to be at least equal. There's when assessing and evaluating for processes, process development, process change, you are going to have gaps and failures. There's this being one of them.
And this is a great example. You and I have talked about this before, that quality and risk should be like this.
They should absolutely be married.
If you're doing A and creating a risk on B, why are you doing it?
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense. So it does require that everyone has some sense of how you evaluate risk in all circumstances and decision making while attempting to adhere to the regulatory requirements.
Yeah.
But, the regulatory guys out there, I hope you're listening in, you shouldn't be creating regulations that are competing.
No, and to have a regulation that forces quantity over quality rather than have them be equal, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
For your transplant centers to not be accountable, they are accountable. There's to not have the same regulation speak the same way about patient outcomes versus quantity of transplants.
Yeah.
I feel like there's an opportunity for some dangerous activity there, right?
Yep.
Hey, we need to get our numbers up. Let's maybe seek out some of those, there's less than favorable organs and put them in a person's body. And let people make strong, smart decisions. And push quality outcomes and hold them accountable to a high quantity of high quality outcomes.
Yeah. Oh, before we move on to number 4, okay, shout out to Dr. Timothy Brown, who was on that last clip, our dear friend. He's no longer with Aperitisoft Healthcare, but we wish him the best. And we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Timothy. God bless you, buddy, and we hope to talk to you real soon.
I second that.
Hopefully he's listening today. Hopefully he's online today. Okay, well, all right, number 4. Number 4 is still think risk assessments are just data reviews? Think again.
Just like what you said, risk and quality should be married.
Yeah. So this one was in June, okay? And that was when we were talking about pathway to quality.
I loved that one.
What your next moves would be. So this was a great clip. So let's run that one. Number 4.
Understand what a risk assessment really means. It doesn't mean looking at how my incidents did and do some analytics around that data.
Thank you for saying that. Yes,
Okay.
that is also a misconception.
Correct. Right.
Yes.
Risk assessment means I'm trying to get my management team to identify where they believe the events are going to be and how bad could those events be. And then you take action. It's technically not a CAPA, it's called a response plan, but it's the same thing, right? So what action can I take proactively so that they won't ever happen again, right? The second thing I believe in proactive quality is getting your arms around regulation.
Yes.
Self-assess
Mhm.
to the
That's
standard. Get that all done before the auditor arrives.
We're both speechless on that because
I have so many things because I mean, you said about 12 things that I could just talk about for the rest of the day. So there's thinking that data is the only point of a risk event, right? That you're just evaluating that single point, that you're not considering the greater scope, the greater spider web. And your entire path to quality, right? Everything's interconnected. There's nothing gets pinged down that spider web without a ripple effect. You can't do that with just a simple, there's linear number, right? There's been 9 falls.
Well, I wish we had a graphic, like a cartoon, right? Because what are we saying? We're saying is you don't drive a car staring at your rear view mirror.
Yeah, I like that. That's
Right.
true.
So how well are you going to do driving forward if all you're doing is looking at the rear view mirror?
Yeah.
And isn't that what's happening when we're all focused on nothing but incidents, reacting to audits? You know, we're trying to drive the quality engine, the quality car, or the boat, whatever you want to call it, in the organization through a rearview mirror. It doesn't make any sense.
I love that. I'm going to use that.
Good.
Well, because you're right. There's like when you think about it from just data reviews, your data reviews are because of past events, past identifications, right? Like all of those things already happened. And likely you're just driving down that straight road and you're treating a fall like a fall like a fall.
It's not like that data's bad.
No,
I don't want anyone out there just to think that we're saying to you, you shouldn't be managing incidents. No, that's very, very important. But to fully learn through them, you've done your corrective action plan. You've done some preventative action plans. The next thing is, let's predict forward. Do we think they're still going to continue these types of incidents? Are there new ones that we're concerned about? Are we in a new area of medicine that we weren't in before that could bring rise to some new stuff? Right? That's where you should be.
Agreed.
Right. So now your major incidents, hopefully, if you're using this approach that we're making it sound simple, but it does require some effort and some sweat. But what we're saying is the major incidents in those new areas may never occur. It's only minor stuff.
Which is the goal, right? There's reporting, there's an active reporting system. There's captures a lot of near misses, good catches. Yeah. There's minor events that can be predictive of other greater events. Yeah. And that you have almost no sentinel events, right? Like that would be like a zero harm hospital system. And those seem like this like far out mysterious idea that's unattainable, but it is attainable.
Yeah. Well, we hit on, as we were reviewing all the clips, this notion of being predictive, being ahead of the curve came up a lot in 2025.
Yeah, yes.
And being proactive versus reactive. Mm-hmm. And, going into next year, I think it's going to be a continued theme. And we're looking for your thoughts out there, audience. Please give us some comments, give us feedback on this, predictive versus reactive. We'd like to know what you're thinking, and we'll definitely be talking about it more in 2026. Also, look, if you'd like to give us more permanent suggestions, that little QR code you see there at the top of the screen, go and scan that. You can set up a time to chat with us. We'd like to know what your thoughts are, even ideas about podcasts, right, Rob? Yeah. So go ahead and do that. We want your feedback so this show can be as best as it can. If you need to talk to us about anything else, same way, set up an appointment. We'd be glad to talk to you. All right, Rob.
We scheduled a couple podcasts for 2026 off of that QR code, people phoning in for it, right? Like, so that's if you have an idea, we would love to hear it.
Yeah, simple as that. All right, Rob, number 3 on the hit parade. What is it?
Predictive risk management.
Here we go.
added another comment, and I appreciate this. There's, predictive risk management that can support C-suite conversations. And I absolutely agree. And a part of that is setting that culture up so that people feel good about reporting. They want it to be better. And they want to make sound, intelligent decisions that are fed by good information coming from the patient experience. Which also, to a previous point, value-based purchasing, patient experience, your HCAP scores, absolutely going to impact how much money you get. And so all of this does tie together in an extraordinarily cyclic way. There's no individual point that just floats out in the middle of nowhere. Everything is impacted by something else.
At least we're consistent.
Well, you have some other things too. I think with that particular clip, which I think is why we have it as number 3, is people need to be comfortable reporting.
They do.
Right? And if we're going to be predictive, we definitely want that great data that's there, but we need lots of it. We need lots of that data, right?
Yes.
So that we in quality can evaluate that and help to predict what might happen in the future. But if people are not reporting, it's garbage in, garbage out.
And then the C-suite needs to set up a culture of quality and a strategic plan that aligns with proactive assessment. There's good quality controls that align with those assessment findings, right? Your proactive assessment says, here's my potential risks. I put controls in place to make sure those risks don't happen. And that's what your C-suite's strategy to meet its goals needs to be built on. And you're not going to meet your goals, whether they be, there's patient-focused outcomes, or your financial goals, which are married. If you do not have those controls, and future forethought, there's in place.
Yeah, and for you guys that are listening out there, we're not trying to keep beating this this horse with a stick, but it really is a mindset, a cultural change to stop reacting and start being proactive. What you will see in your organization is enormous, which leads to number 2. And number 2 is the ROI of quality.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's the metric every CEO misses. But going back to everything we've been talking about so far, if you're not thinking proactively, you're not going to really be able to drive that ROI or bring the data forward that can prove it to the C-suite. And I think this was done in October, and we had Dr. Chrissy Lake as our guest at that episode. Correct, Rob?
Yeah. And Dr. Flake was awesome.
Yeah.
There's wonderful insight.
So I think that topic was quality, what it is and what it should be. And this came out of that conversation. Why don't we go ahead and run number 2? Chrissy, what's your opinion?
I agree with Rob on a lot of it, but I would also take it one step further to say we have conditioned CEOs to look for what is the ROI, what is the return of investment. And quality hasn't done, as a industry, we have not done a great job of demonstrating what our ROI is. So when others come through and they say, well, this department generates X number of dollars, or this one creates, this much revenue for us, quality has not done a great job telling that story. And so I think from the quality side, we need to take ownership to say, here is what is now being called the ROIQ, the ROI of quality. So this is how we save you money. This is how we're able to potentially generate money through improved scores, through quality measurements. Rob and I were talking not too long ago about money being left on the table because they didn't even know that there was a quality incentive that they could have hit had they even had it on a radar.
Yeah, she hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, and I love that last statement because she is so true, so accurate. I can't tell you how many there's members of C-suite team that I've talked to that they have said things like, wait, so we will get more money from our payers if we reduce our fall rate, if we improve our throughput, if we be like, yes, because good quality care is less expensive for payers. there's right, wrong, or right. Just however you feel about payers and incentivizing hospitals for better quality, that is a very good thing. It does incentivize hospitals financially to provide better care and reduce things like readmission rates. That's bad for patients. There's We know that they're going to stay well out of the hospital if they've gotten good care at the hospital. And all of that circles back to how much money you get to retain from CMS and how much money you get to earn additional through incentive programs through other payers. Not to mention reputation and boosting some of your electives, which are huge moneymakers. There's when people know that you're a safe institution to get care from.
Right. It's interesting in risk management, we talk about things in terms of cost of risk. And I've got a patent, actually, Rob. You probably know about this. It's called aggregate risk quantification, and it takes an enterprise risk management view. So not just insurance costs, but overall risk, looking at risk as a strategic thing, right? And what Chrissy was talking about and what you just talked about kind of plays in all that, because what you do is you treat this revenue, a freeing up of revenue, as sort of a contra cost. So as you're improving how you're managing risk and quality, okay, what ends up happening is that this contra cost ends up reducing your overall cost of risk as a percentage of the size or revenues brought in by the hospital. So you can actually use this metric. It's in dollars and cents. And you can be measuring over time how much the burden is on a hospital through time. That's the ROI right there. The another thing, there's one other thing that we have talked about in the past that we probably should inject here, is that not many companies or organizations have this ability. We certainly have it in our software, but you can do a proactive risk assessment and do it in dollars and cents, driving a Monte Carlo simulation engine to produce statistical probability density functions around all the key risks that you're looking at. So now you can make a better decision on, hey, I need to spend $100,000 in the emergency department on some quality things, and I can save $2 million of impact.
Yep.
Again, ROI, right?
How amazing that would be. And honestly, a wonderful tool for the quality people, risk people, compliance people to have that on your dashboard when helping to create your strategic plan. But the patient outcomes would immediately go up, right? Because all of, like you said, it's all people. It's about the people. And good care is good business, which is better money.
Yeah, yeah. Which leads us to number one. Just roll the drum roll, please. What's in number one for 2025?
And what's in your toolbox? There's risk or clarity. AI's role in healthcare.
That's right. That was the topic. We talked about AI in healthcare. Yeah. I think about that old Capital One commercial. What's in your wallet? Right. So I think about that. What's in your tools? Right. I mean, you probably are disparate. You have some tool handling your incidents. You have some tool trying to help you with analysis, some other tool that you're documenting your policies in, some other tool you're trying to develop your action modeling and project management in, and they're all not talking to one another, and you're copying this over to this and this over to that. And it's creating enormous inefficiency. You're exposing yourself to risk in doing this, to non-compliance and fines. Don't you think it's time, now that you have a whole new thing coming at you and you need tools to address it, to evaluate the risk of it, isn't it time that you think about making a change? I mean,
I know you're being rhetorical, but yes, it's time.
And the it there was AI, everybody. If you're wondering what the it was, what a way. Yeah.
I've had several conversations in the last few weeks about AI. Can we use it for this? Can we use it for that? There's everything from, are we allowed to use it to help us with our policies because they're proprietary? And technically it's all open source. And are we allowed to use it for patient information? Well, the patient information is an easy no. But all of the other things just tell me that we don't know what to and not to do with it. Including our privacy officers. We've just not figured it out yet. So we need to start assessing it, and our tools to assess it look something like this.
Yeah.
And that is, and I'm kind of joking, but I'm not really. Because lots of our colleagues, in the healthcare world right now, they do still use clipboard, paper, pen, notebooks. And really what they should be doing is walking around on a tablet or a laptop, entering data that's going to give them smart dashboards, smart information that allow you to make real determinations. This is a risk that's not a risk. This is where the risk lies, and this is how we're going to deal with that risk. And we just don't know how to do that, mostly because the tools aren't in use in our healthcare system today.
And we're here to tell our audience that tool that brings all this into one place gives you the power to provide all the different analyses we've been talking about in the show today is Aperitisoft Healthcare. And I would be remiss to close out our year without making that pitch to you. If you're struggling to get ahead of things, you're feeling enormously efficient, you're thinking to yourself, I don't have time. I don't have time to be thinking about that. Well, if you're thinking that, then you need it. You need a change, and you need something that's going to make a difference. And that barcode, the QR code that's there on the screen, if that's you, go ahead and scan that. Reach out to us right now. We'd love to talk to you about what you're up against, your challenges, and let's just see if we're a fit for what you're being faced with. We'd like to be that partner for you to make that happen. Well, Rob, it's been an amazing year of healthcare quality risk matters.
It has.
Thank you for being a great co-host.
Same.
Your insightfulness into this industry is remarkable. I hope the audience can appreciate that. We're truly bringing you, in my opinion, the expert panelists and the co-host in this industry. I'm just a risk guy. Don't listen to me. But
with 40 years experience in patents in this space, yeah, I would say you're an expert in this space as well.
But it's been wonderful, and we're really looking forward to a new year. It's going to be an exciting year, we believe, and we're looking forward to hearing more from you and getting your topics. So stay tuned in January, and we'll kick off a brand new year. Any final last words, Rob, we can have for our audience out there?
I just want to emphasize what you said, your insight about change. And yes, since the pandemic, healthcare has changed dramatically, rapidly, aggressively, intensely, in immeasurable and unpredicted ways. That is not slowing down. We thought that we would hit a small plateau or a dip in that change. Once things settled out of COVID, it didn't. And our future is going to be aggressive and continuous change. And we need the tools in place to ensure that we can manage that change safely and in a way that manages with good business sense.
Well, we have Prasanta came on here right at the end of the show. Prasanta, welcome from India. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for joining the show. You caught us right at the end, but Rob, we will have this available to be seen, right, and heard for some time. So if you missed us today, you didn't miss the whole show. Give me the details on LinkedIn. Is it going to be available on LinkedIn, or you have to go to YouTube?
The link to YouTube will be on LinkedIn. They're posted to the comment section right under. There's the LinkedIn post for easy access. There's for viewer friendliness, please visit us on YouTube. And I'm so excited for next year's podcast.
Yeah. Happy holidays, everybody. And have a wonderful new year. We'll talk to you in January.
Take care.
Goodbye, all.